Oh yeah, and all the people being like this one still that I just saw on Twitter. All people being like, "Oh, Robert Pattinson sucks." Like this lanky, skinny Batman. Like I don't want that. Well, I mean,
Dude, yeah, dude.
skinny
It's
Batman.
that's
Like,
a different
look at him.
person. I don't even know if that's Robert Pattinson. That's so crazy.
Like he looked massive in those
It
shots.
was huge.
It's like Jesus.
And, like,
Oh my god.
I feel like this is going to get this. Well, I mean, it already has the same level, but I feel like this is definitely going to get Oscar nominated.
Yeah,
I mean,
so.
I think it was sometime last week there was some more test screenings of it,
Oh, yeah?
of like for test audiences, and there was
Sorry, I don't want to get Sandra out of frame.
yeah,
Oh, that's so beautiful. Can you send that to
that's
me?
the volume. That'd be the volume.
That would be the volume, yeah, they'd be shooting out a
Oh,
volume
yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's so impractical to try and shoot a dawn
Yeah.
like that. That's
Yeah.
the thing. You know,
It'd be freezing.
since the volume count, that's why I picked it in the Shazam thing, is because it was like a dawn shot. It was like, okay, you don't get shots like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
You
that's
get
not
that
real.
From, like,
You
proper
know?
coloring, proper like stuff from like that.
And so like so it's
And
like
again, like as I saw some people saying earlier in the week, like Greg Fraser doesn't get enough respect as a cinematographer. Everybody always talks about like Roger Deakins and so on,
Yeah.
but Greg Fraser is incredible.
Yeah. I think
June.
the whole trailer just is like
Yeah.
an example of how amazing his work is.
Yeah,
Oh.
Rogue One, Mandalorian, June, and this, and like this,
But
like he is
it's not
absolutely
even
brilliant.
just- like it gets the aesthetics of what Gotham is. It's like
Yeah.
it's very grungy, very dark, but also it has these very bright colors. It's
Yeah.
very minimal, but it's bright when it is there, and that's why I love that opening shot where it was like that cafe, and there's like it's really dark, but all you see is like those bright lights. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
perfect.
it's one of the things I really sort of like when when the first trailer released, and I was just like sort of like analyzing it in all these different ways, of, like all these different trying to like put into words all these different things I liked about it so much. I love how it's one of the things that really contributes to the sort of very like really sort of comic booky sort of visual style of it all. That everything is very dark and heavily contrasty with like really heavy shadows, like huge whole swathes of the screen is just like jet black.
Yeah.
And then like just with little bits of detail peeking through, but all that detail is so heavily saturated in color.
Yeah.
Like if you like go back and look at it, the first one, it's like everything is, and like all the sort of early shots at the start of like in the mayor's office and so on, it's like everything is just this like big, really warm, glowing orange everywhere. And then you look out the window and everything is just like ice blue out there. And like just having that sort of visual style of like, it's like you can just see that like if this was a comic panel, it's like, yeah, that's how they do it. It's like
That's
everything is
perfect,
pretty much
yeah.
all these heavy inks, and then we just got all the orange, the interior is blue and the exterior is, and like it's just
And
so
even
cool.
that screenshot you just showed before, like the silhouette of both Selena
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
that, it was like that looks like something out of a comic book. It's beautiful. It's stunning.
But yeah, so anyway, so test screenings. So there was some test screenings of the film recently, and someone saying how I said credits rolled to a standing ovation, and they said now this is just like these are like a sort of random general test audience thing. It's like these people aren't necessarily DC fans or Batman fans, or like this is. And it's like the people here weren't people going in expecting to see the Batman in the test screening. It's just people that sign up for a test screening session. It's like, it's just going to be a movie. And so this is just like a random assortment of people here to see a movie. And it got a standing ovation. And it's
That's
like,
pretty good.
well, Jesus, that's like, that's some high praise right there.
Yeah,
you know-
definitely.
Something I want to say about the trailer that I liked, I appreciated, is they didn't try and one-up themselves music-wise. They just did more of the same. But
Yeah.
they just
They did a second iteration on it.
yeah, they just
It's like
evolved.
how you get hums of that song throughout.
Yeah,
the
they
whole
put hums.
trailer.
They put
It's
the
not like
hums back
fully
in
there.
from the first trailer, on top of just making my score bigger. I hate to keep asking you to screen share stuff, but I did just send you the link to
Oh, yeah.
Matt Reeves' 4K version of the trailer if we want to rewatch it real quick.
I shall open it. But you two keep talking. I'll set it up.
Yeah. But like, it's just, I don't know. It's like what I like is that it's from what we've seen, and we saw this in the first trailer. Riddler is terrifying,
Oh, so terrifying.
but we disregard that in this trailer and focus on no, Batman's terrifying.
I love that, dude. Because usually, like, even I'll set it up in a second. But like, just
Yeah,
to talk
totally.
about that, like. Riddler, I've always been afraid of, and I was like, oh my god, I want like a movie with him as the main. But in this, it's like you don't even think about him. You see his like
Exactly.
a bit of his face. You see him in like just casual clothes. He gets caught, and then you just see Batman for the rest of the trailer. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh god.
And there's that moment of Alfred saying to Bruce, like, "You're gonna lose yourself, keep doing this," and it looked like the reverse shot was him in the I think it's called the Drifter outfit with the mask off, and he's just got the black paint around his eyes. Basically, like I think something like he doesn't care like anymore. He's got nothing left to lose. And so it's like him like just lurking like in his room upstairs or something, just like with just the black paint on around his eyes, just been out lurking around Gotham.
Yeah.
And Alfred's like saying, "Just you gotta stop doing this, man. Like
Yeah.
this is not."
Yeah.
Also interesting, Alfred's got had scars on his face.
Yeah.
You know?
It's other thing from the test screenings is that the current cut of the film is just shy of 3 hours long. They said.
Oh,
So,
I
he's
like
like,
it a lot.
good,
I like
Good.
it a lot.
I hope so. I want it to be long.
Oh,
And
it's I was gonna say this is just something I thought about the scars. It's I think he's got
I'm just gonna do the
he's got to
thing.
draw the thing in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's-
Jordan's in
it's-
the corner. And tell me if it's working for you.
Yeah, it was looking good.
Boink. There we go.
It was something about the scars that just kind of could be a potential thing. I don't think so. Oh, you probably should hit play and let it buffer for a bit because this is 4K, so
Yeah.
let it buffer for a little hot seconds. It was a theory I heard that like I didn't know how much I don't know how much I believed it.
Mhm.
And I still don't think I entirely believe it, just from a couple of bits we saw of Alfred, but it's just an interesting idea. But I saw people suggesting the idea, the fact that we don't see Alfred in the first trailer, people suggesting the idea of, what if Alfred's dead and he's just in Bruce's head? Like,
Oh
Bruce is
my-
just imagining him as, like, this voice of reason in his head.
That would actually be really interesting. I would love that, I think. Like, with the way that Bruce is being portrayed, not even Bruce, but even just the Batman, like, he is so in his own head, and, like, saying, like, you know, like, I'm fine, like, everything's good. Okay, now, just play it.
Yeah.
It's not in 4K, but it should...
It's in auto.
Oh, okay, that's pretty 4K.
That's alright. It's way better than the quality we watched on my version.
Police! Hands up!
How we focus, too.
Yeah.
Stay still! Get out of here!
Question mark killer.
Oh.
And I love how it's green as well.
Yeah.
Fear is
Makeshift
a tool.
bat symbol.
But when that light hits the
Oh, that
sky,
shot of him is good.
Oh,
it's not just a call. It's a warning.
look at his cape, dude.
Oh, the fact he just takes it. Is that Taser Glove?
Oh my god, I think it is.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I thought it was just music.
Trying to reach you.
Fire the gun!
Was that deepening on his voice? I don't know.
I don't know.
Prisoners to match.
I can take care of myself.
Oh,
Just kicked him in the face, or was that something else?
It won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa! Take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say,
that music.
ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance.
Yeah, wingsuit. Yeah.
Black. And blue. And dead.
Got scars all over him. Yeah.
That detail on the mask.
I got you! I got you!
Oh, here it comes. Holy shit. The Batman. God damn.
Oh, that's gonna be a wild night watching that in the cinema.
Yeah, that's gonna be something.
Dude, but that music, like,
No.
is so good. It just intensifies as well at the end, so it just makes it 10 times better.
I just wait, hold on. Let's sit back. Tell you what, it's like because there isn't like really any sort of depth of field here. It's just the weird thing. I have like sort of clicking back on here. I look like Mitch was really tiny. Like
I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just chilling. And this bit here of Bruce's fucked up crime web thing that he's working on,
Yeah.
that looks very unhinged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It
does,
looks
and
like a summoning circle or something.
yeah, that doesn't look right. That don't look right, Bruce. I'm not gonna lie.
I think you're into some
I need to
ego
start
shit,
connecting
dude.
these clues together. Fine. Well, Master Wayne, would you like a corkboard or something? No, just give me a bucket of white paint. I'm going to paint on the floor.
Bruce, you good, son?
What are you doing?
Oh,
So
Give me a
good.
knife. I'm just going to etch it into one of the walls. Like,
Jesus, Bruce.
Batman.
A lot of Batman
So
lately. A lot of Batman.
Yeah.
It's really cool because it's been. Yeah, I mean that's been like we haven't had a solo Batman movie in a decade.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
even though we have had Batman stuff, it's still like Batman.
Actually, yeah, it will be a decade since, because it'll be 2022 to 2012.
yeah, it'd be 10 years.
Mhm.
It's a lot of people are like, oh, what's all the Batman stuff? It's like, yeah, but Batman's actually not been kind of on the back burner a little bit.
Dark
But
Knight Rises, that was the last one.
Yeah.
yeah, Dark Knight Rises, and
Yeah.
then we had Batman vs Superman 4 years later.
Yeah. 20
And then that was the last time we saw Batman on the screen was in 2017, Justice League. So it's been honestly not that much Batman for the past few years. This one shot really fixes me when Matt talking about like this rich sort of rock star billionaire.
Yeah.
That look.
I love it.
It's like
I feel like that's
100%
gonna be turned into a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give it a couple of hours or even like 10, 20 minutes, it's gonna be turned into a meme.
Or you figure something out, Mitch.
Yeah. What is this scene of him like leading a bunch of people in the sewers or something with a flare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what is that shit? Like, what's
Like,
happening
secret
there?
Underground basement.
You know, like a
shit?
bunch of people are like worshiping him, like because he's this, I don't know, Batman. Like,
So there's the other couple of things, like some details from the whole thing about the test screenings. And I think we can kind of hear a bit of this in the trailer, but said how Bruce keeps a journal in the movie. That's like sort of a thing.
Uh-huh.
And the film is narrated by Bruce of like was like just like excerpts of his journal that he's then sort of like as narration then. And so I think there's a little bit of that I think you hear in the trailer here and there. I thought that's probably some narration. And it's like some of the stuff with the Riddler. I know like everybody sort of already talks about like since the first trailer sort of the obvious Zodiac killer inspiration, and then like a bit of Unabomber inspiration as well. But then I know that they said that from the test screening, they said if he can be compared to anyone, is like he's a Jigsaw-esque character.
Yeah, that's what I was
like,
thinking as well. Very Jigsaw-like.
Yeah, they said like his whole thing is kidnapping people, putting them in some kind of trap or something, and forcing them to solve puzzles to get out of it.
Yeah.
And like, but they said that Riddler is absolutely like blood-curdlingly terrifying.
Oh yeah.
In the film,
Good. Done well, and I think
Yeah.
I can't remember who the actor's playing Riddler in this one, but I think he's
Paul
doing a good job.
Dano.
Oh yeah.
Really,
I've seen him in a couple of things, and he's really good.
really talented guy. Plays from the one role I've seen him in, plays very haunting sort of performance.
Yeah, I watched him in 12 Years a Slave, and he was terrifying in that movie. It was just scary watching him on screen every time he appeared.
Yeah.
So, I
It's
trust he'll do a good job as the Riddler.
Yeah.
Oh, they got such a good cast.
Oh, definitely.
I love it. And I'm seeing a bit more of like how hard Colin Farrell's going with the ham. There's Penguin.
Dude.
It's brilliant.
Was it? Whoa,
Honestly,
take it easy there, sweetheart. Like, Batman's like facing him down. He's just like, chill, like, you know.
Like,
Wasn't
dude.
I wanted to take a look back at that shot. He like, I thought Bruce just just went like that at him, but he like grabs something and like holds it up to him. I think. Like, it looked like briefly like he just grabs something and aims it at him. Like, it can't even be because he's threatening him. He just grabs a gun and just points it at him. Like, just to threaten him. Maybe I don't know.
The threatening sense, yeah.
It could be the back claw, and he's threatening to shoot it through his skull. I don't know. Like, it's just like they look like he grabs something and holds it up towards him, and that's that moment. But yeah, no, Rob looks real unhinged.
Really?
Bruce has got some issues happening there.
I think everyone's a little unhinged in the movie.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
possible.
as well, like, because even they were talking about, like, this is, like, the origin story technically for everyone, not just the Batman.
yeah.
So it's, like, we see, like, the Riddler, obviously, very early stages of his stuff, Selena Kyle, and then all that other stuff. So I think it's really interesting to see, like, it's more like, it sort of, like, reminds me of the Joker, where it's, like, sort of more like a character study than it being, like, a superhero film. So it's, like, that's what I love about it, and that's why I was, like, more interested in giving it a chance, because I know a lot of people early on were like, Robert Pattinson, he can't play Batman and stuff, and I was like, I'm going to give it a chance, because I feel like that's the same thing that happened with the Joker, and look what happened with the Joker, and how successful it was, and how good it was, so I was like, this is probably going to be good, and look at how good the cinematography is, like, amazing. So,
it's like, this is a couple of things I got questions about, like, editing wise, and like, honestly, yeah, like just some post production stuff. The bit of Paul Dano we heard, he doesn't have the effects on his voice anymore, or at least he doesn't in that scene. And in that scene where Rob is, we don't hear him. I'm pretty sure we don't hear him speak as Batman in the trailer, except the bit when he shouts at Riddler, and it sounds like his voice has been deepened artificially.
Yeah.
So is it like, does he have a voice changer or something when he's interrogating someone?
Yeah.
Is it
interrogation mode like in Spider-Man?
Yeah, does he have something to disguise his voice when he's talking to people?
Yeah.
Well, because I guess the invention line wasn't processed.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
talking
that's the
to
thing. Like, I think it might be his voice, but I think, like, he just makes it deeper. And
maybe just because he's shouting and he's in, like, this interrogation mode, maybe it's just Rob's just really dropped his voice for that line.
Yeah.
And it makes mix as well that we're hearing him through the screen, and so it's probably through a speaker, and so it sounds like it's processed, but it's probably just...
It's
that
probably
line sounded...
yeah, sound design.
Yeah, because that line sounded very different to what he sounded like in the first trailer.
I like the thing as well that we still we haven't seen Eddie's face. Yeah, in any way.
We saw just the side.
Just like
the side of him. That's the most we've seen. Oh yeah, and then they grabbed him and threw him down, and then we were this side. So you don't see his face.
Like, they made sure not to show his face. I feel like that's very intentional.
Yeah.
Trying not to show the face.
Yeah. It's like, I think it could be either the thing of, like, just sort of, like, making it a moment when he's sort of, like, just, like, making it more of a moment, or it's, like, or, like, the whole little theory that I've sort of had that it's, like, there will be some moment in the film when, like, the mask is pulled off of the Riddler, and it's not Edward Nygma or something.
Ooh.
Or, like, that's sort of, like, it's just, like, a whole little
theory. There's like this sort of double.
Yeah.
He's got, like,
it
a
might
double.
be someone who's pretending to be the Riddler, but then there's also the real Riddler.
As Zan's pointed out, as part of that theory, that whenever we hear Riddler talking, it's like sounds like it's coming through a microphone.
Yeah.
So if it's like this guy's wearing his microphone in the mask, but it's not. Picture how fucking creepy that would be. That Batman gets this guy, pulls the mask off, and he's just like this scared random henchman, and then the voice comes from the mask.
Yeah.
In Bruce's hand.
Yeah.
Like, that would be,
I feel
and
like Bruce would just go. Break it.
Yeah. Because, like, that whole scene of, like, the police arresting Eddie, I thought, I'm thinking that'd be from, like,
why would they show that?
That to me looks like it'd be from, like, the end of Act 1 or the middle of Act 2 or something. Like, I'm picturing it being a sort of thing of, like, they look at the evidence, they figure out what's going on, it's like, there's, like, they realize that, alright, the most, like, the obvious identity to the question mark killer is Eddie Nashton, and so they track him down, they arrest him, they bring him in, and then something happens that basically, like, sort of proves that he can't be the Riddler. And then that's then when the whole rest of the investigation really starts to sort of take a turn and go further. Or even if it's something like, the craziest thing would be if in some way Bruce is implicated, is like, no, actually he's the Riddler. And, like, you know, it's almost I'll almost be getting into a bit of Sherlock Season 2. GCPD basically are just writing off the Riddler as a threat, and Eddie walks free, and now the Batman, or Bruce Wayne, is now the one that's targeted.
Well, it's 100% the Batman is getting targeted, because, like, there's a scene where they're chasing him through GCPD, which looks like it ends with that scene of him on top of the clock tower. Yeah, it's just, it's I don't know. It's a very different vibe.
It's a very different vibe. And I think
To
it's
lo-
welcomed because it's so
Yeah.
different, I think, from anything we've seen. Because even that they said that, like Matt said very early on, like, it's going to be very unhinged. He's not going to be like any Bruce Wayne or Batman we've seen in a very long time. I was like, oh yeah, I can half believe that. But then seeing this trailer, it's like, okay, I fully believe it now. Like, this trailer just shows a very different side to Bruce and Batman that we haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's like it's got that mix of like the realism like the Dark Knight movies have, but then it's also got like that sort of just that very stylized and very out there feel of the Burton movies as well. It just feels like that. It feels larger than life,
Yeah.
but grounded at the same time.
The thing of like when I was saying how like after watching the first trailer and kind of like just like analyzing and breaking down everything about it, there was the one thing that I remember. I remember latching onto this as like this is kind of the epitome of like the visual aesthetic of this film and like the visual design, in my opinion at least, and like the whole aesthetic too, like sort of world design and everything. Bye, goodbye everyone.
We'll see you all
on November 12th.
November 12th, Disney.
Disney.
What?
Disney
That's
Plus
the
Day.
one. Disney Plus Day.
We'll be
Marvel,
doing it
Star
again.
Wars.
So keep an eye on for that, and we'll be doing all the reactions and stuff to all that jazz. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Yeah.